operating service station equipment, and I'm conducting training on the above ground fuel system, training Autotech Mark. We're going to start at the Vita route. You currently have a Vita route, so you understand how this works. But for everyone else, it's this is a tank monitor. It monitors the probes, which tells you how much fuel is in the actual tank. It also has liquid sensors attached to it for both UDCs and the annular space on the tank. In the event there was any kind of a fuel leak, it goes into alarm and it shuts off the power to the submersible pump. Most of this is something that is handled by a fuel contractor because of certifications that are required and so forth. But you can print out inventory levels and that kind of thing. I have information for that in the O&Ms. So, okay, so let's go outside and we'll take a look at the equipment on the tank. Okay, so this is your standard Baker box for the fill. By the way, we did change to the Morrison Brother, what the executive order says. We changed that yesterday. So I'll get a certification to you for that. Has the vapor hooked up. The hand pump for anything that spills in the Baker box can be pumped back into the tank. You got a clock gauge up there that tells you how many feet and inches you have of fuel in the tank. Although the probe is going to tell you anyway because it's there, so you have a visual aid. You've got a manway on the middle that there's no reason to open that unless you had to get into the tank for some reason. You've got your two emergency vents in the middle. You have let's see, we'll start over at the pump, which has been painted white. It used to be red, but it's now white. Pump is on the end with the hook in it. Comes off of a flex line, runs into a solenoid. I can't see it from here. There's fire valve, and after the fire valve is the solenoid. That's the one that's green. The key that's next is a pressure relief, so that because of heat and so forth, you get pressure. It'll relieve at, I think, 50 psi, and then it pushes the fuel back into the tank. You have your EVR vent cap, and then there is a stick port right next to that, which is the T has the vent, and the stick port is right above that. And then the leak detector is the black thing on the end of there. If it detects a leak in the fuel line, it cuts the flow to the point where you gotta fix something because hardly anything comes out. The fuel comes into dispenser.
Okay,
so we've calibrated it. This is our sticker. This is our seal on the calibration switch. Shear valve. This is what we call snap tap. We use this when we're pressure testing any kind of lines. If we're trying to find a problem, we just usually leave them in here so that they're there. Shear valve. These are all the components in here are all E85 certified, including the nozzle, even though there's only 87 in here. This is the liquid sensor right here. Wiring for that goes back to the Vita route, and then this is the power circuits that go over to the fuel master and operate this. So close this and to the fuel. Pull the nozzle off, pull the handle up, goes to zeros. Ready to go. Okay. We have two identical sides that are exactly the same. The fuel master, I'll have to go through this after we get it operational because it's right now it's stuck in a reboot loop. And started doing that yesterday, and I have not been able to figure it out yet, and haven't had enough time to figure it out. So when we get this basically you guys, I think, are using all Voyager cards. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay. So the Voyager card is going to slides in here, and it'll come up with the normal prompts that you would normally have. You'll have to enter your badge number or whatever it is, and then it authorizes fuel here. The card also, of course, works at any retail place.
Yeah.
So there's one on this side and there's one on the other side. This one controls this pump. One on the other side controls that pump.
So when this is on, they won't be able to dispense fuel without
Correct.
card in. Excellent.
Correct. This authorization controls the valve in that. I mean, it'll reset and it'll go to zeros, but it will not pump
That won't pump.
because the valve is shut off.
Excellent.
So when that valve goes on, it's also tied to the solenoid up there, and it also pulls in the coil for the pump at the same time. Air and water, standard stuff. The air is coming from the building, and then the water is coming from the building, so there's not any compressor in or anything like that. Your spill kit right here. In the event that there's a problem with, say, something goes wrong with this. Let me pull this out and show you. Inside here we have a called dry disconnect, so it's got a poppet in it. If for some reason something went wrong with that poppet and we couldn't shut off, we got a check valve here that keeps that column of fuel from pushing its way out. And then also as a second resort, we have a ball valve right here. So we have had situations where that happens, and it can make a really big mess if you can't shut it off. This is the spill kit. It's got boom in it, diapers, all kinds of stuff in it. There are two things in the wash bay. One is a bag of kitty litter, and the other one is a diking material that's in a box. I didn't want to put that out here until you guys were here and you could decide where you want it.
Yeah, excellent. So
But it's in there. That's what I think you videotaped by the soap. There's a bag and there's a box there. That's those two things. Inside your trash can, we have it. I actually had a plastic bag over top of this for most of the time so it wouldn't fill up with water. But your windshield washing thing is down in the bottom of here. On both sides. I don't know what to put in here, but it should be down in the bottom somewhere.
Oh yeah, you can just pull this out.
Right. So that's pretty much it for the fuel thing. Everything that's up on top of the tank and inside of here is basically for a fuel contract.
Yeah.
But we'll have all this stuff commissioned and started up and everything. So the only thing that isn't functioning right now is this and the fuel master, and we're working on that.
Okay.
I think that pretty much covers the. Okay, I'm Mark Fry with Reading Service Station Equipment, and I'm here to do fuel master training with Mark, the CHP Auto Tech. We have already gone through the operation of the heads outside, which are basically authorizing a card, answering the prompts, and pumping fuel. What I'm going to do now is show him how to add a user, how to delete a user, and then how to do some basic reports, and then also send updated authorization lists. So if you want, let me take a
spots.
Yeah, let me go ahead and sit there and I'll run through it real quick and you can watch. Okay, so let me do, the first thing I need to do is I want to go back and change the site setup. So the first thing we have to do to open the site list is hit the site icon right here, and then we want to scroll down and find Crescent City, which you're going to find is there's two of them. So 120A is the FMU that's on this side, which is the south, and the other one is on the north. So we'll do one at a time. Because they're two masters, they have to have two sites.
Got it.
So this is 120A, and this shows the setup here. This is the FMU. And so this shows the This is the where you change the timeout I was just telling you about valid key timeout. That's 30 seconds from the time it authorizes to the time you fuel. That can be changed right here. And then zero quantity shutdown is if when pumping, if you stop pumping and then don't pump for 10 seconds, it's going to shut down the transaction. That can also be changed. This up here is where I configure the pumps, and this is what I was going to tell you that I just changed. You see this part here, it says start and end?
Yep.
It's pump hose sense. I need to open that, I need to change that, because that was what our problem was. We need to change that to none, and apply it. Your network is a little on the slow side. So now I've changed that, and now if I want to send that out to the pump, I would hit online. I don't want to do that right now, but if I hit online, well, let me just do it. It won't matter. So there's master 0, and you hit upload, and then it's going to make a connection to the fuel master, and it's going to send this information I just changed out to the head. So now, in the future, if there's an update, it won't change it to something that causes it to not work.
Got it.
Which is what happened to me yesterday. So I was kind of bummed, I can tell you. So
this freezes the configuration.
right. Well, now they're both the same,
Got
which is good. So it finished doing that. We'll go ahead and hit OK and get out of this. This also is where you configure the IP address, which should never need to be changed. And that's basically like it's on here. This just basically shows you your tank and address and that kind of thing. We'll close out of that. Well, let me go to real quick before I forget. So you'll know Chico is right below Crescent City. So because everything in the state is on here.
Don't change their stuff.
Yeah, don't change their stuff. Okay, so we're going to do the same thing here real quick. All right, 30 and 10 is fine. We'll leave that. Open this. Change this to end or to none. Apply that. Okay. And send that up. Same thing. This master 0 should always be checked because there is nothing else there.
Right.
So upload. This is what basically shows you the actual connection window, where it's actually telling you that it's going to this IP address and so forth. Quick and hit it. Okay, close out of that. Okay, so that's the site. We go to system. Let's see what we got here. Configuration is basically global. Most of this stuff here is global. It's already set by your headquarters people.
Yeah.
Online. If we go to this tab online, this is where we're going to go online to the FMUs, and we have to pick the sites that we want to do this with. Okay, because this is where we're going to do things like we're going to probably your headquarters people probably already have this polling already set up auto. So like sometime in the middle of the night, maybe it goes out and it gets the transactions and brings them back into a report. I don't know how that's all set up. That's something that they do.
Yeah.
But this is where you when you do your polling, you send out anything that's changed in your vehicle list or in your user list, or anything with you don't have AIM here yet, but at some point I think you're going to. That will automatically send that out to the fuel master heads so that they have the latest and greatest lock-in list. So the way this works is there's not a lockout. It's all a lock-in.
Mm-hmm.
So, meaning that if you're not on the list, you're not authorized.
Right.
Period. So, to do this, you go down here and you pick which site you want, and see, there's some of these like Placerville, we don't want that. This has to do with who's been doing it this morning or last night or whenever it was. I just need to make sure we're all checked, except for, let's see, which one we go to. Okay, so I'm going to check that one and that one. And then we're going to hit connect. And the connect is going to then, it's going to do the same thing it did with the other deal, only this is going to take a little bit longer. So everything that I have checked here, it's going to do. So it's going to download transactions. So we need those because I want to see to make sure that it got the two that I just did up there. And unfortunately, we can't do anything else while this is happening. And I think your IT people will probably be able to help you with like where they want, to save this stuff, and but you're going to get a polling report just like you saw when you first logged in this morning.
Yeah.
That is actually going to be saved. I believe it's in program files, something data. I'm not sure exactly where it is, but I think right now what it's doing is actually putting it on your
C drive.
Yeah, I think, but I'm not for sure about
Probably,
that.
'cause I don't think this thing can see the network drives right now.
Okay.
Well, then I could be wrong though.
That I don't know. Running transactions. This may take a few moments. Okay.
There we
Oh, gosh, it's actually doing something too. Maybe it was hosed up. Okay, here's the user. It's actually exporting the polling report right now. Transactions. One fuel. 4 zeros. One retail. One retail. One fuel. 5 zeros. So this is basically a polling report that says what it actually did. So that so if you want to add a user, you go to the user icon up here, and you hit add, and then you put in a user ID, whatever, like I think you guys are using employee.
Yeah.
Say new employee, you put an employee number in. As soon as you put the employee number in, then it'll open up down to customer ID, and it should be the same thing, and then all these other deals will open.
It'll auto-populate?
Yeah, it should populate. Okay, so when I put this down here, so now you can enter all this stuff. Once you have customer ID and the user ID, which is the same,
Yeah.
then you have, it shows each Crescent City and Peninsula. So it can use it anywhere. This. And then if we want to, so now say we want to delete one.
Oh, okay. So they put a guest code in there.
Right, I put this code
Oh,
in.
you put that one in there?
Yeah,
Okay.
because we're site 120.
Yeah.
So to delete this, you would hit the delete, and it's going to ask me, do you really want to do that? I'm going to say no,
No,
in this
leave it
case.
there
But
for now.
that's as simple as it is for adding and deleting. When you do that, like I said, this is going to be set to automatically send that list, but that list would change, and then when you did your next upload, it would send the new list out.
Okay.
So, Vehicles are the same thing. This is the vehicle list. So you do the same, hit add, and then put the vehicle ID, however they do that, maybe by the Voyager card, I don't know, but, and it works the same way. And the same thing with deleting, it's really simple. Reports, let's see what we want to do here. Let's do a batch. This, once again, you have to pick your site ID because this is the entire state.
Right.
And you're going to be 120.
Here we are.
Do 120. Let's see, and there you go. That was the only transaction I've done, and I did. You can see this is the user ID I did. This is the card I used. This is the odometer I put in. This is the hose number, the product, and this is the quantity that I pumped.
That is awesome.
You like it?
Yep.
Okay. So that's what you're going to get. It gives you the time of day, the date, the time of day that we did it, and all that. And then you do the same thing for the other one, which is, make sure I'm close. Yeah. So then we go to 120B, we do the report, and there you go. And there's at 821, I pumped 0.49, and that's what came out on the deal, so we know that the quantities are correct, so the pulser's reading properly. And that's as simple as that. I mean, it's, what do you think?
Yeah, I like that.
So, and there's a whole bunch of other reports. You can do them by vehicles, by site,
Yeah.
you know, all kinds of things like that. So, so that's pretty much it. I mean, you have any questions?
No. It's
Pretty straightforward.
yeah.
Okay. All right. Then that'll conclude our